I'm going to tell you why professional photographers only use very specific brands of cameras and camera equipment and very specific models. Now, before we go too far into this video and before I play this through and you can get a feeling of what everyone's using, let me know in the comments below what camera brand you use so I can get a good idea of what everyone's on. Let me know in the comments below what you use for a camera brand so I can get a good idea of what everyone's using. Let me know why as well. That'd be great to hear. Now, I made a video recently about the pointlessness and the futility of watching camera reviews. And during this video, I said, really, there's only 3 cameras you're going to buy. It's the full frame Canon, the Fuji 100, or it's a Phase 1. There's nothing in between. And people in the comments were like, well, I don't agree with that. There's lots of good cameras, and there are. There are loads of good cameras. Nikon make good cameras, Sony make good cameras, Fuji make good cameras, even Pentax make good cameras. Now, some photographers I know one photographer who uses a Leica. Bit oddball, it's a Leica medium format. I know another who uses an Arca Swiss with a phase back, which is a bit of a curveball decision. I know 2 who use Nikons, but generally speaking, everyone shoots on Canon, Fuji 100, Phase 1 XF. They're the 3 staples of the industry. Lighting-wise, pretty much everyone in the UK, Profoto. And then to a lesser extent, Broncolor. And there's a reason for that as well. I mean, we have Broncolor in here, but when we're on a big shoot, we use Profoto. So why is this? Why is it that there are only these options in the professional industry? And it comes down to some things which are very simple. One is trends. And this is I'd love to say it wasn't true. But there's no reason why I should rent Profoto or not Broncolor, but everyone uses Profoto. It looks cool on set. All the behind-the-scenes pictures look good. And to be honest, we're a bit of a sucker for that. Likewise, it always looks cool to have a Fuji 100 or a Phase 1 XF on set. They're always cool bits of kit to have. And there's definitely a certain amount of trend. You see somebody's like, what's that modifier they're using? And you go and look into it and you go, oh, that's cool. And maybe you wouldn't have even bothered with it if you hadn't have seen it. And that is definitely something worth noting. There are trends in photography. But the more important reason is the rental houses and the support. And this is a kind of a 2-part reason. Could have done it as 3, really, couldn't we? Rental houses only stock certain things. The main rental house I use, yes, it stocks a bit of Broncolor, but not much. The majority of what it stocks is Profoto and Profoto modifiers. So when we do a big shoot, and when anyone does a big shoot, we don't shoot in our own studios. We go down to London because no one's leaving the M25. We go down to London, we rent a studio, and the rental house has these big carts full of kit they push in with everything from grip, light stands, cables, gaff tape, card, the lot. And they rent Profoto out prolifically. They must have Profoto coming to them as a brand, going, we'd like you to stock our stuff, we'll give you a good deal. And then that's passed on to the photographer. So that is a huge reason why Profoto lighting is really, really popular. Likewise with cameras. If you look at the Fuji system, it's the cheap way to own or rent medium formats. That's why they're in there. But the other 2 brands, the Canon and the Phase 1, they are the popular brands at rental houses. Everyone stocks the Canon cameras. They might have a Sony and a lens or a Nikon and a couple of lenses, but they really stock Canon. They're really invested into Canon. And they're really invested into Phase 1. And again, you can rent a Hasselblad, but when it comes to Phase 1, it goes directly into Capture One. Hasselblads go into their own software. Now, most Digitechs, yes, they could work it out, but they're familiar with Capture One because Capture One is the industry standard. It goes Capture One into Photoshop to the client, usually as a TIFF because someone's going to ask. But that's how it works. It's very much like if we rent the Hasselblad, yes, the Digitech can work out Hasselblad's weird software, but also Capture One won't allow Hasselblad into it because Capture One and Phase 1 are the same company and they don't want Hasselblad coming in. So it's like this whole debacle. There is nothing wrong with a Hasselblad. Absolutely not. They're brilliant cameras. I've used them several times. But we tend to use them with a Phase 1 back because it's just easier to make sure everyone on set knows how the software works inside out. The last thing you want when you've got a huge job is someone going, I can't work out how to do this in the Hasselblad software. Let me quickly watch a YouTube video. Likewise, Canon. Canon just works. Nikon also just works. Sony very much works. All of them take exactly the same 35mm full frame picture. There's no difference in any of them. Any difference you think there is, it doesn't exist. And a lot of people are like, oh, you need to hold it in your hand. And yes, I think if you hold your camera in your hand, that's important that it feels comfortable. But the first time you pick up any professional camera, it doesn't feel comfortable because they're massive. They're huge, heavy chunks of metal. So, just get used to it. Like, it's like when you change car, or when I had my clutch replaced recently and the bike points in a different place. I was like, oh my word, I'm going to stall my car at every junction. And then within a week, it just feels normal. So, I don't think those things matter. But there is nothing wrong with the other cameras. It's just easier to shoot Canon because Canon is what's available in the rental houses. Everyone I know shoots Canon. Everybody shoots Canon who is a professional photographer because of that. And of course, yes, Peter Lindbergh shot on Nikon. And he had a mass array of Nikon cameras. Chase Jarvis shot on Nikon. Again, mass array of Nikon cameras. But for us mere mortals, it's much easier to have a camera system which you can easily and readily access and that everyone on set will definitely be familiar with. So there are these reasons. And that is all it comes down to. There is no, the reason pros use this is because it's better. It's absolutely not the case. It's not the case that we use it because it's better. We use it because it's easier. We use it because everyone knows how to do it, and we use it because it's readily available. If I need to hire 10 5DSRs today, it's not an issue. If I need to hire 10 Sony cameras, it might be more of a problem. If I'm trying to hire a Pentax, that's going to be a real issue. I wouldn't even know where to look for a Pentax. And it's even little things as well, like flash triggers. You need the right flash triggers and like drivers and all that sort of stuff. But there is nothing wrong with the other cameras. If you own a Nikon, it is great. It is fine. It does exactly the same thing. The image quality is as good as any other brand. I've never looked at another brand of camera and gone, should probably move to that because the image quality is better. The only things I've ever looked at and gone, I should probably move to that, the image quality is better, is medium format because that's the only way to get better images. It's just the difference in cameras are not that great. I mean, look at when the last time Phase One bought out a camera 15 years ago. That's the last one they did. Canon bring out 5 a year. Like, there's no upgrades there. It's just new models with slightly different tweaking to it. But the reason we stick with Canon, or the reason I stick with Canon, is because it's easy to get hold of. I can get a Canon camera in 15 minutes in London on a courier. Not a problem. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.